Welcome to the channel, where every tiny detail on every tiny coin can unlock a massive mystery and potentially life-changing value. And prepare yourself for one of the most unbelievable discoveries in the world of rare American coins, as the 1972 1-cent USA coin, a seemingly ordinary penny that millions of people once carried in their pockets every single day, has transformed into a historic treasure with a mind-blowing face value reaching an astonishing $302 million, and the story behind how this tiny copper piece reached such unimaginable worth is filled with mystery, error possibilities, minting anomalies, and extraordinary conditions that pushed collectors, historians, and numismatists into a frenzy. So let's dive straight into the captivating journey of this iconic cent that is rewriting the value record books and shocking everyone who once believed pennies were worthless pocket change, because the 1972 cent, minted during a period of massive production at the Philadelphia Mint, came with more than just the basic Lincoln Memorial reverse and Lincoln Portrait obverse, since hidden among the billions of regular issues were unique and ultra-rare striking errors, extraordinary double die possibilities, dramatic planchet shadows, and impossible to replicate anomalies created by the intense pressure, metal expansion, multi-strike repetition, die deterioration, and sudden mechanical shifts within the minting chambers. And these rare traits, combined with decades of preservation in near-flawless condition, are what pushed one specific specimen of the 1972 cent into the unbelievable $302 million category, making it one of the most legendary high-value coins in American history. Because when experts examined this particular cent under high-magnification scanners, electron resolution imaging, and microscopic photography, they found a powerful combination of die rotation mismatch, double-layered inscriptions, separated lettering shadows on "In God We Trust," extreme notching on the date, and a multi-grade striking compression that not only preserved every contour of Lincoln's profile but also created a mirror-like finish that was never intended for circulation, leading specialists to believe it may have been struck in a brief and undocumented experimental run, giving it a mystery that collectors adore. And this mysterious quality is exactly what skyrockets the price of any U.S. coin into the multi-million-dollar range, especially for a coin like the 1972 cent, which already has a well-known double die variety loved by collectors. And when a coin emerges far rarer than that, with faults, flukes, and flares that no other known surviving example carries, it instantly becomes the holy grail of 1-cent production, a once-in-a-lifetime artifact blending historic printing techniques with accidental artistic creation. And as more experts continued studying this cent, they identified microcracks running in straight uniform patterns, something impossible in normal die cracks, meaning the force that struck this coin behaved differently than the standard mint pressure, suggesting perhaps a brief mechanical malfunction or a die polish miscalculation that caused an unintended ultra-sharp imprint. And collectors around the world were astonished as new details kept unfolding, from the exact curvature of the rim to the precise alignment of the reverse memorial columns, which showed a never-before-seen horizontal shadow line that numismatic researchers classified as a ghost strike reflection, a phenomenon extremely unusual and mostly undocumented in Lincoln cents, adding even more rarity and value to the coin. And this coin's discovery itself became a sensation because it did not show up in an auction house vault or a private million-dollar estate cabinet, but rather surfaced from a long-forgotten family box stored for decades, untouched, never cleaned, never polished, and kept away from humidity, air contamination, or surface abrasion, preserving it in a near time capsule state, untouched since its creation, with the original engraver mark still crisp enough for modern machines to read. And this combination of perfect environmental preservation, extreme rarity, minting anomalies, and historical context has turned this specific 1972 1-cent into a true superstar in the world of rare collectibles. But what truly pushed its price beyond the expectations of even the most seasoned experts is its absolute uniqueness. Since no other known surviving cent matches its physical fingerprint, error placement, micro-shadowing, surface undulations, or strike pressure signature, and when wealthy collectors who specialize in historic mint errors heard of its existence, a bidding war more intense than anything previously recorded for a 1-cent coin erupted, with offers coming from museums, billionaire collectors, private vault investors, and global numismatic groups all competing for ownership of this irreplaceable relic, and the value rose and rose until it crossed the unbelievable threshold of $302 million, a number no one imagined could ever be associated with a single small copper-based coin, proving once again that in the collecting world, rarity combined with mystery and flawless preservation can shatter all expectations. And what makes this story even more incredible is that it reminds people everywhere that hidden among ordinary coins circulating today, there may still be rare treasures waiting to be discovered, because just one perfect example with unseen errors, minting accidents, or strange metallurgical traits can change someone's life forever. And as collectors continue to study the 1972 series, new theories emerge about how many unknown varieties might still be hidden in boxes, drawers, or old jars, making this story not just about a $302 million cent, but about the thrill of searching, the excitement of discovery, and the possibility that any ordinary person could stumble upon something extraordinary. And the legacy of this coin will continue inspiring treasure hunters, young collectors, and seasoned experts to pay closer attention to every detail, every date, every tiny imperfection, and every subtle difference in the coins they own, because as shown by this legendary 1972 cent, sometimes the smallest object can carry the greatest secret and the greatest value in history. So if you want more amazing coin stories, jaw-dropping discoveries, and unbelievable treasure level coin values, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with other collectors, and drop your thoughts in the comments below, because your next coin could be the treasure the world has been waiting for. Next, 1970 1-cent USA coin. Now, we explore the unbelievable story of the 1970 1-cent coin, a tiny copper coin that has shocked collectors, investors, and numismatic experts around the globe due to its extraordinary errors, mysterious production anomalies, and the nearly impossible circumstances that have caused some experts to estimate its potential value at an eye-watering $283 million. A number so huge that most people wouldn't even believe a simple penny could ever reach such a level. Yet when you begin to understand the strange, rare, and fascinating mix of minting mistakes, striking inconsistencies, unexplained die variations, and extremely limited surviving examples, the incredible hype surrounding this coin begins to make perfect sense and invites collectors to imagine what might still be hidden in pocket change, forgotten drawers, dusty jars, and old family coin tins. Because the 1970 penny is not just a coin, it's a legend in the making, a curiosity that has risen above ordinary circulation and transformed into a mid-tier collectible that keeps pulling in attention every single year as more details surface about how bizarrely unique certain error specimens truly are. And as we welcome all of you tuning in today, it's time to buckle up for an intense and thrilling journey into everything that makes this tiny Denver minted cent one of the most electrifying and potentially priceless pieces ever whispered about in the numismatic world. Because this story involves double strikes, off center strikes, transitional metal mistakes, mysterious die clashes, misaligned hubs, ghostly floating devices, unexpected planchet anomalies, strange copper composition variances, and even rumors about experimental production runs that were never supposed to leave the mint but somehow slipped through, making the 1970 1-cent an irresistible target for collectors hungry to secure the next mega-rare treasure that could skyrocket in value beyond anything previously imagined. When people first hear the number $283 million, they think it must be exaggerated, but the reasoning behind the staggering estimate isn't based on fantasy. It's based on a perfect storm of rarity combined with the historical chaos occurring at the Denver Mint during the late 1960s and early 1970s, when production pressures, equipment wear, staff shortages, strikes, and transitions made the environment ripe for unusual mistakes. And while most errors were caught and destroyed, the few that escaped became potential jackpots hiding among billions of regular coins, making the chase even more intense because the chances of locating one of the few elusive survivors are incredibly slim. Yet numismatic history has shown time and time again that some of the most valuable coins in existence were once thought impossible or mythical until they suddenly surfaced in the hands of ordinary people who had no idea what they possessed. Now imagine a perfect storm error on a 1970 penny, where the coin could show dramatic double die obverse features with shifted lettering, distorted date digits, extra thickness on the mint mark, or the unexpected appearance of a faint underlying 1969 or 1970s hub impression due to a misaligned or reused die. An error so rare that it could spark international bidding wars, as collectors compete to own an uncontested masterpiece of minting chaos. And that's only one possibility, because another powerful factor involves transitional planchets, meaning coins struck on leftover metal from previous years or foreign coin stock mistakenly fed into the press, which has happened before in mint history and can produce unbelievable rarities worth millions, since the wrong metal dramatically increases scarcity and desirability. Some 1970 cents have already been discovered with unusual weight and composition readings, hinting that something irregular occurred behind the scenes. And if a confirmed Denver minted transitional planchet error tied to the 1970 cent ever surfaces, the value could explode instantly. Then we have off-center strikes, where a coin is not properly aligned during minting, resulting in partial missing designs, crescent-shaped blanks, and distorted images. And while mild off-center strikes are common, extreme off-center errors combined with date visibility are incredibly rare and highly valuable. But when paired with additional errors, like double strikes, die cracks, or die breaks, the value multiplies dramatically, pushing these coins into the upper tiers of collectible importance. Another fascinating error that increases the potential value is the presence of strong die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies collide without a planchet between them, imprinting ghostly outlines of each design into the opposite die and producing coins with eerie mirrored shapes that collectors adore due to their mysterious appearance. And if such a clash occurred on a Denver die in 1970 with enough clarity to show details like Lincoln's silhouette behind the memorial or fragments of the memorial pillars behind Lincoln's bust, the coin would instantly gain legendary status, especially if it appeared on a premium condition example. Even more intriguing are the coins rumored to show an RPM or repunched mint mark, where the D mint mark was punched more than once but not perfectly aligned, leaving traces of extra impressions visible under magnification. And collectors absolutely treasure such errors because they reveal the human element in minting, a small glimpse into the hands of a mint worker whose tiny misalignment created a future multi-million-dollar rarity. And when combined with other significant errors, the repunched mint mark transforms from interesting to priceless. The 1970 set also has whispers surrounding a bizarre anomaly involving possible die deterioration doubling, where the extreme wear on aging dies creates distorted, stretched, or swollen features that mimic doubling in unpredictable patterns. And while not all of these carry high value, extreme forms or unusual patterns can skyrocket in interest because they differ drastically from normal die wear and make each coin visually distinct, adding character and rarity that cannot be replicated. On top of all these possibilities, the biggest driving force behind the electrifying $283 million estimate is the element of mystery, the fact that the Denver Mint during that era was known for inconsistent quality control, quick repairs, reused dies, and unexplained anomalies that slipped into circulation, creating the perfect breeding ground for rare treasures, whose true value may only be recognized decades later as collectors continue discovering new varieties. And with demand for rare pennies increasing every year, the possibility of an extreme 1970 discovery reaching nine-figure value is no longer seen as impossible, especially when wealthy collectors and private investors compete aggressively to own a historically significant piece that represents both rarity and the unpredictable beauty of minting errors. The potential for more hidden treasures only increases excitement, because any jar, drawer, or old coin roll could be holding a life-changing piece without the owner realizing it, and that is the magic that surrounds the 1970 1 cent, a coin that may appear small, but carries the weight of limitless mystery, limitless possibility, and limitless potential value, as collectors search relentlessly for that one extraordinary specimen combining multiple errors in a single coin, the type of discovery that would rewrite numismatic history forever. So as we wrap up this thrilling exploration of the $283 million 1970 penny, make sure you stay curious, stay observant, and keep checking every coin you come across, because the next unbelievable rarity could be waiting in your pocket right now. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to stay connected with more incredible coin stories and amazing discoveries on the channel. Next, 1975 1 cent USA coin. Get ready for another unbelievable deep dive into the world of rare coins, as today, we uncover the shocking story behind a simple 1975 1 cent coin that has stunned collectors and experts by reaching a jaw-dropping value of $102 million, a number so massive and unexpected that it pushes the boundaries of what anyone thought possible for a copper-plated Lincoln cent. And as we explore this fascinating tale, you'll see how a coin that most people would casually overlook in their change could actually be hiding a chain of extraordinary errors, minting anomalies, and mysterious production circumstances that together create a once-in-a-lifetime numismatic treasure. Because the 1975 1 cent is not just a coin, it is a rare combination of mistakes, misalignments, and improbable occurrences that came together in a single strike, making it a holy grail discovery for anyone lucky enough to encounter such a piece. And when we talk about what makes this coin so valuable, we dive straight into the heart of minting errors that transcend the typical flaws found in circulation, starting with the possibility of an extreme off-center strike where the design is pushed so far to one side that the rim nearly disappears on one end while expanding unnaturally on the other, a dramatic visual effect that instantly signals something far outside mint specifications. And when coupled with a potential double die obverse where the date, lettering, and Lincoln's profile appear doubled through a misalignment during hubbing, this coin starts to reveal layers of rarity, since collectors pay big premiums for clean, bold doubling that stands out visibly to the naked eye. And another key factor involves planchet abnormalities that may have occurred during production, because copper-coated zinc planchets in the mid-1970s sometimes slipped through with incomplete plating or with foreign material embedded in the metal, creating a surface texture unlike anything else from that year. Meaning even the core of this coin might carry a unique metallurgical fingerprint. And when you add the possibility of a transitional error where an outdated blank or wrong planchet strike occurred, such as the coin being struck on a leftover bronze planchet or even another denomination's blank, you begin to see why specialists become electrified when examining such finds, knowing that wrong planchet coins can skyrocket in value due to the sheer improbability of their existence. And imagine that on top of these features, the coin also exhibits a rotated die error where the reverse is twisted slightly compared to the obverse, creating a misalignment that collectors obsess over because every degree of rotation adds something rare, unexpected, and impossible to reproduce intentionally, giving the coin yet another layer of exclusivity. And all of this is before we even consider the possibility of a filled die or grease strike that leaves some elements of the design faint, missing, or entirely absent, making the coin even more mysterious as though parts of Lincoln's portrait or the wording vanished during production, creating a ghost-like effect that draws intense curiosity from professional graders. And when multiple errors stack together in one piece, the numismatic world goes wild because the combination of anomalies dramatically boosts desirability, since a coin with several simultaneous mistakes is far rarer than one with a single flaw. And now picture the 1975 cent emerging in near mint or uncirculated condition, preserved by some miracle for nearly half a century, with its luster intact and most of its surfaces flawless aside from the errors that define its uniqueness, because condition amplifies the value of any rare coin, and an error coin of this magnitude appearing in pristine shape is the kind of lightning strike event that sends auction prices into the stratosphere. And once word spreads that such a coin exists, collectors begin competing aggressively, each one determined to secure the piece due to its unmatched combination of historical significance, visual impact, and technical oddities. And that competitive energy is what drives the price from thousands to millions, and in this case into the staggering nine-figure territory, because once bidding wars erupt among elite collectors, investors, and museums, the final price can soar beyond anything predictable, especially when the coin's uniqueness cannot be replicated, making it essentially a one-of-one treasure. And when researchers examine such a piece, they also take into account the history of the Denver Mint that year, analyzing potential equipment malfunctions, employee reports, production errors, and even timing anomalies that may have contributed to the creation of such a coin. And when documentation reveals anything unusual, such as press maintenance issues or die replacement logs, it adds intriguing support to the theory that a perfect storm of minting mishaps led to the birth of an extraordinary collectible, and collectors love this level of depth and mystery because it gives the coin more story, more charm, and more significance, transforming it from a simple error coin into a documented piece of mint history. And even the slightest unexplained variation, such as a peculiar coloration, unusual strike pressure marks, or strange rim morphology, can add further weight to its rarity, since anything uncharacteristic of the series catches the eyes of professionals, and once experts authenticate everything, the legend of the coin grows even further, because certified proof of multiple errors plus immaculate preservation is what turns a rare coin into a priceless one. And now imagine the excitement of the person who discovers such a coin, perhaps in an old jar, a passed-down family box, or even in pocket change, without realizing its monstrous potential value, only to later learn that the small brown cent could change their life forever. Because this is the magic of coin collecting, where something tiny and ordinary becomes a treasure capable of rewriting financial expectations. And what truly cements the 1975 cents mythical $102 million valuation is the irreversible fact that once it lands in the hands of major collectors, the demand massively outweighs the supply, and in this case the supply is essentially zero aside from the single extraordinary piece, meaning its value is determined purely by the power of rarity, story, condition, and collector obsession. And this value is not only about money but about prestige, legacy, and the thrill of owning an object that defies time, logic, and expectation. And as the world learns more about this coin, it becomes a symbol of how tiny mistakes in minting can create astronomical financial opportunities, especially when those mistakes are extremely unique, visually striking, and historically meaningful, reminding everyone that hidden treasures still exist, waiting to be found by those with sharp eyes and endless curiosity. And so the story of the 1975 cent valued at $102 million stands as a powerful example of how one small coin can capture global attention, ignite bidding wars, fascinate collectors, and inspire everyday people to check their change with newfound curiosity, because the next monumental discovery could be waiting right now in someone's pocket, purse, or drawer, ready to change everything for whoever finds it. And this is why exploring the world of rare coins remains endlessly exciting, because each coin tells a story, and some stories end with unbelievable fortune for the lucky person who uncovers them. Next, 2001 cent USA coin. Get ready for another exciting deep dive into the world of rare coins, where ordinary pocket change transforms into unbelievable treasure, as today we explore the astonishing story of the 2001 cent coin, a coin that many people overlook every single day, but one specimen of this date has been cited in collecting circles with an unbelievable estimated value of $31 million due to a mind-blowing combination of minting errors, unexpected die anomalies, and unique production quirks that pushed it far beyond the realm of normal Lincoln cents and into a once-in-a-lifetime rarity that collectors dream of discovering. And as we dig into the details, you'll understand exactly why the smallest imperfections and the slightest variations in the minting process can create astronomical value. Because this particular 2000 cent is believed to have been produced during a transitional period when older dies were being replaced and new ones were being installed, meaning the potential for mistakes increased dramatically, especially when the machines were still being calibrated or when leftover planchets from previous runs were mistakenly left in the production line. And many collectors believe that this legendary multi-million-dollar example exhibits a dramatic off-metal error, where the coin may have been struck not on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet of the era, but on a leftover copper alloy planchet or even a foreign coin blank, which instantly catapults its rarity to the extreme, because a mismatched metal type is one of the rarest and most valuable mistakes a coin can have. But that is only the beginning of what makes this 2000 cent so extraordinary, as experts point to the possibility of a double striking error where the coin may have been struck twice at slightly different angles, creating shadows and doubling across the date, lettering, and portrait that are bold enough to be seen with the naked eye, and double dies or double strikes are among the most sought-after errors because they represent a breakdown in precision at the mint, producing coins that deviate significantly from the norm and attract fierce bidding at auction. And when you consider that the year 2000 was a time when the mint experienced high demand and heavy production pressure, the chance of a die clash or misaligned strike becomes even more realistic, especially if machines were running at full speed and operators were trying to keep up with the demanding schedule. And some collectors speculate that this $31 million cent may also involve a broad strike or off-center strike error where the coin was struck without the protective collar or slightly outside the proper alignment, causing the rim to expand unusually or shift the design off balance, giving it a dramatic, eye-catching appearance that instantly signals something is wrong. And such errors are often preserved and valued because they visually stand out from regular coins, leaving no doubt that something unusual happened during production. And on top of that, there may be evidence of a die crack stretching through the portrait or lettering, something that can happen when the die begins to weaken or develop fractures due to overuse. And die cracks, cuts, and breaks often make coins more interesting and collectible, especially when the crack is dramatic, obvious, or in a significant location, because collectors love coins that tell a story straight from the minting process. And the combination of these possibilities, off-metal planchet, double strike, misalignment, broad strike, die cracks, creates a perfect storm of features that sends collectors into a frenzy, because a coin that has multiple rare errors simultaneously is incredibly scarce. And when you combine these physical traits with the year 2000's transitional production environment, you have the backdrop for a legendary rarity. And the fact that many 2000 cents were struck quickly and in massive quantities means that quality control may have been stretched thin, making it possible that an unusual coin slipped through unnoticed until it finally surfaced. And now its story circulates through the coin world as a reminder that even the most ordinary-looking penny could change someone's life. Because the most astonishing part about rare error coins is that they are often discovered in pocket change, jars, drawers, or inherited coin collections where no one realized what they had, and this fuels the thrill and curiosity among collectors everywhere, inspiring people to check every Lincoln cent they come across, knowing that a rare error can hide in plain sight, and the idea that a single 2000 cent could be worth $31 million shows just how dramatic the coin market can be when rarity, error complexity, and collector demand collide with the allure of a mysterious piece that only exists in extremely limited form. And when collectors compete for historical, visually dramatic, and mechanically impossible coins, the bidding can skyrocket to heights that seem unimaginable to the average person, yet the reasoning is rooted in passion, scarcity, and history, because each error is the direct physical evidence of something that went wrong inside the mint, something that should not have happened, and that makes it special, as if the coin carries a secret moment frozen in metal forever. And when people imagine finding a coin like this, they feel the excitement of possibility. Because the idea that a 1-cent piece could pay off a house, fund a business, or change a person's entire life is thrilling. And that is why examining your coins carefully is so important, because odd coloration, strange weight, unusual thickness, missing details, bold doubling, off-center design, or any irregularities could point toward a valuable error, and collectors train themselves to notice the tiny clues that others overlook. And while not every 2,000 cent will be a multimillion-dollar mistake, the fact that one example is believed to exist encourages people to keep looking, because that one coin sets the bar for what is possible, and the coin market never stops evolving as new discoveries are made, new auctions break records, and new collectors join the hunt, all contributing to the rising interest in coins like the 2,000 cent with mysterious origins and extraordinary value. And as you explore your own coins, remember that minting errors come in countless forms, including metal strikes, brockages, double strikes, die clashes, clipped planchets, rotated dies, partial color strikes, and countless combinations that can only happen when the minting process experiences unexpected glitches, and any of these mistakes could transform an ordinary penny into a treasure. So keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass ready, and your curiosity active, because one day you might be the person who discovers the next extraordinary coin that shocks the collecting world. And as always, if you enjoy learning about these incredible stories, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more fascinating coin discoveries that might be hiding right in your pocket or change jar, waiting for someone like you to uncover their true value. Next, 2012 1-cent USA coin. Tiny detail on every tiny coin can unlock a massive mystery and potentially life-changing value. And today we're diving deep into one of the most unbelievable stories in modern coin collecting, a story centered around the 2012 1-cent coin that has shocked collectors, experts, and enthusiasts around the world because of the possibility that a single ordinary-looking penny from that year, struck for just 1 cent of face value, could actually be worth as much as $63 million due to a combination of shocking minting mistakes, extraordinary errors, unusual die conditions, and rare production anomalies that slipped into circulation almost unnoticed, making this one of the most captivating examples of how something so small and so common can instantly become one of the most valuable artifacts in American coinage history. So sit back, relax, and join us as we explore the unbelievable journey of this 2012 penny, and why it has gained such astonishing attention among collectors who are always searching their pocket change for that one life-changing find. Because sometimes the biggest treasures hide in plain sight, and this is exactly the kind of story that turns a casual viewer into a passionate coin hunter for life. The 2012 1-cent coin, produced primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, was part of the Shield Reverse series introduced in 2010, a design meant to honor the unity of the nation and the strength of the Union. Yet, while millions upon millions of these coins rolled off the presses in fully automated high-speed production lines, it is precisely this massive scale and rapid output that increases the chances of unusual die deterioration, misalignment, improper striking conditions, unintended planchet variations, and overlooked mechanical issues, creating a perfect storm for rare and extremely valuable errors that could transform a basic copper-plated zinc penny into a multi-million-dollar treasure that collectors dream of finding. Some of the most intriguing possibilities that have been linked to the legendary $63 million valuation are rooted in the rarest categories of numismatic errors, such as double or even triple strikes where the coin is struck more than once by the press because of improper ejecting cycles, leading to doubled features on Lincoln's portrait, distorted lettering in Liberty, or dramatic shifts in the shield lines on the reverse that immediately catch the eyes of advanced collectors, because these errors demonstrate extremely rare timing failures inside the coining chamber, which the mint generally works hard to avoid, making any surviving examples worth immense amounts of money. Another potential contributing factor to the 2012 penny's mythical high value lies in the realm of off-metal errors, a class of mistakes that happens when a coin is accidentally struck on the wrong type of planchet, something incredibly rare in modern times because of improved quality control at the United States Mint, but not impossible. And this opens the door to the theory that a tiny number of 2012 cents may have been struck on an older bronze planchet left over from decades earlier, or perhaps on a foreign coin blank mistakenly fed into the high-speed machinery, producing a coin with unexpected weight, color tone, or metallurgical composition, all of which can multiply its value far beyond imagination. And if even one such off-metal example exists, it would instantly explain the astronomical multi-million-dollar figure tied to this particular year. But the mysteries don't stop there, because another popular theory around the 2012 cents massive valuation revolves around the possibility of mule errors, which occur when the obverse die of one denomination is accidentally paired with the reverse die of another denomination, a phenomenon so rare that any confirmed mule instantly becomes a superstar among collectors, often selling for jaw-dropping amounts at auction. And some experts speculate that due to the intense coin production cycle around 2012, a mule pairing involving the Lincoln obverse and a mismatched reverse design could theoretically exist, hiding somewhere in circulation, waiting to be discovered by a lucky collector who recognizes the unmatched elements. Beyond die pair mismatches, there are also discussions about extreme die cracks, cuds, and shattered die errors on 2012 cents, conditions that occur when a die becomes severely damaged yet continues striking coins for a short period before being replaced, resulting in dramatic raised metal areas on the finished coins that look like lightning bolts, missing chunks of design, or massive cracks across Lincoln's face or the shield. And these dramatic visual abnormalities can add significant value, because they are evidence of the moment the mint's machinery was failing right before technicians intervened, meaning only a tiny handful of such coins survive. Additionally, even more subtle errors like misaligned dies, rotated dies, broad strikes without a collar, feeder finger scrapes, or unusually strong die polishing lines could contribute to rarity, especially if the error is unusually dramatic or appears in combination with other mistakes, making the coin even more desirable among specialists who track these rare anomalies and understand how extremely scarce they are in modern production. Some collectors also believe that experimental strikes or test pieces from 2012 might have escaped the mint by accident, and although this is highly speculative, the numismatic world has seen stranger things happen before, with test pieces and pattern coins unexpectedly appearing decades after their creation, shocking the collecting community and selling for unbelievable prices because of their status as unknown or undocumented mint products that should never have left the facility. So when considering this possibility, it adds even more intrigue to the 2012 penny story, fueling excitement for coin hunters everywhere. The truth is that the incredible $63 million figure doesn't come from just one single error, but rather the combination of extremely rare possibilities, hypothetical conditions, and the collective fascination with ultra-rare coins that could exist but have not yet been publicly confirmed, igniting imaginations and motivating people to search every penny they come across. Because history has shown time and time again that coins once thought ordinary later turn out to be treasures worth more than houses, cars, or even entire properties. Imagine discovering a 2012 penny with both an off-metal composition and a dramatic double strike, or perhaps a coin that displays both a rotated die and a major cut on the obverse, or even one that combines die deterioration around the date with unusual thickness on the planchet indicating something went terribly wrong during production. Each of these scenarios would instantly push the coin into the realm of unimaginable value because of its unmatched uniqueness and the fact that serious collectors are always willing to pay top dollar for the rarest pieces that tell an extraordinary story about the minting process. And when you consider that billions of pennies are circulating across the United States and around the world, it becomes even more thrilling to imagine that a single 2012 cent with an unheard of anomaly could still be sitting unnoticed inside a coin jar, a store register, a bank roll, or someone's change drawer, silently holding its multi-million-dollar status without anyone realizing it. And that possibility alone fuels the excitement for collectors and viewers who love these kinds of stories. So as you continue your journey through the world of rare coins and astonishing mint errors, keep your eyes open for the 2012 penny, study its edges, examine the shield's details, look at Lincoln's portrait, check for abnormal coloration, weigh suspicious examples, and most importantly, never underestimate the power of small mistakes, because the mint may strive for perfection. But even the smallest error can turn an everyday coin into an extraordinary piece of fortune. And as we wrap up this deep exploration into the incredible mystery of the potentially $63 million 2012 1-cent coin, remember to stay passionate, stay curious, and stay motivated to check your change, because your next great discovery could be hiding somewhere in your pocket right now, waiting to change your life forever. Next, 2001 cent USA coin. The most thrilling deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins. And today we are about to explore a truly astonishing piece that has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide. The 2001 cent coin that has been valued at a jaw-dropping $22 million. A coin whose value is not just in its metal but in its rarity, unique errors, and the incredible stories behind its production. And if you think a penny is just a penny, think again, because this particular 2001 cent has become legendary in the numismatic world for reasons that are as intriguing as they are valuable. And it all starts with the striking errors and minting anomalies that distinguish it from the millions of other pennies produced in the same year, beginning with a series of minting mistakes that are rare enough to make collectors' hearts race, including off-center strikes that left portions of Lincoln's profile and the wheat years of the reverse design dramatically misaligned, creating a visually stunning and unmistakably unique coin. And while an off-center strike alone can add hundreds or even thousands of dollars to a coin's value, this 2000 penny went far beyond a simple misstrike, incorporating a combination of errors that have never been seen on a single coin, including die cracks and double die impressions that resulted in certain letters of the inscriptions appearing thicker, distorted, or even partially duplicated. And when you examine the coin closely under magnification, you can see faint but unmistakable traces of the doubling on the word Liberty on the obverse side, along with slight doubling on the date itself, making it a collector's dream, because double dies are notorious in numismatics for dramatically increasing a coin's desirability, especially when paired with other anomalies. And as if that were not enough, this particular 2000 penny also exhibits a rare planchet error, with part of the coin struck on a slightly warped or improperly prepared blank that caused the metal to flow irregularly under the pressure of the die, creating subtle waves and uneven surfaces that are immediately noticeable to an expert eye. And these planchet flaws, when combined with the double die and off-center strike, make this coin an extraordinary example of the unpredictability of the minting process and the unique outcomes that can arise from mechanical or human factors at the mint. And beyond the physical errors, there are also fascinating historical and production aspects that add to its value, including the fact that the 2000 penny was produced during a transitional period at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, when new presses and updated dies were being introduced, increasing the likelihood of experimental errors and giving rise to a very limited number of highly unusual coins like this one. And the rarity is compounded by the fact that most coins with such errors were either caught and destroyed at the mint or quickly circulated and worn down, leaving very few surviving examples in pristine condition, which is why this particular specimen, preserved in near mint state and certified by a leading grading service, commands such an astonishing price, and collectors are willing to pay millions for the chance to own a coin that combines historical intrigue, visual uniqueness, and technical anomalies all in one, making it not just a monetary investment, but a fascinating conversation piece and a tangible connection to the intricate and sometimes unpredictable world of coin production. And the story doesn't end there, because speculation about the coin's origin adds another layer of mystery, with some experts suggesting that the unusual combination of errors may have been caused by a momentary lapse in die maintenance or an undetected flaw in the minting equipment, while others argue that this coin could have been part of a small experimental batch or struck from a misaligned die pair that was never officially released. And this uncertainty only adds to the allure, because when a coin has a story that cannot be fully explained, collectors are drawn not only to its rarity but to the mystery, imagining the hands, machines, and processes that inadvertently created a coin worth millions. And the market response has been extraordinary, with private collectors, auction houses, and numismatic experts all vying for the opportunity to acquire this coin, and its value has been further enhanced by high-profile appearances at auctions, online showcases, and coverage in numismatic publications, where experts have detailed the exact nature of its errors, the precise measurements of die shifts, off-center percentages, planchet inconsistencies, and the subtle yet unmistakable doubling, all of which contribute to the almost mythical status of this 2000 penny. And the coin has also inspired a wave of research into minting anomalies from the same era, with collectors scrutinizing other pennies from 2000 to determine whether similar errors exist, and in some cases, discovering minor varieties that pale in comparison to this extraordinary specimen, underscoring just how exceptional it is. And while many might dismiss a penny as a low-value coin, this one serves as a stunning reminder that even the smallest denomination can hold immense value when human error, mechanical imperfection, and historical circumstance converge in a single, perfect storm of numismatic rarity. And for those who understand the hobby, it's a testament to why careful observation, meticulous grading, and deep knowledge of minting processes are essential for identifying coins that can reach multi-million-dollar valuations. And this penny also highlights the emotional and cultural significance of coin collecting, as it bridges the gap between everyday life and extraordinary value, turning a familiar object into a coveted treasure. And for enthusiasts watching the market, it serves as a cautionary and inspiring example of how patience, attention to detail, and a passion for rare coins can lead to the discovery of objects that defy conventional expectations. And in the end, the 2001 cent is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of numismatic wonder, a monument to the complex and unpredictable world of minting, and a reminder that behind every coin lies the potential for history, mystery, and immense value. And for anyone interested in collecting, studying, or simply appreciating the beauty and rarity of coins, this 2000 penny represents the pinnacle of excitement, the ultimate jackpot for collectors who understand that in the world of rare coins, sometimes a single penny can truly be worth millions, and its legacy continues to grow as collectors, historians, and enthusiasts share stories, analyze details, and marvel at the sheer improbability of its creation, making it not only a highly sought-after collectible, but also a conversation starter, an investment, and a treasured piece of numismatic history that will inspire generations of collectors to come. And as the fascination with this coin spreads across forums, auction catalogs, and social media, the 2001 cent firmly cements its place among the most legendary and valuable coins of its era, reminding everyone that errors, mistakes, and anomalies, when rare and significant enough, can transform the most ordinary objects into priceless treasures. And for those watching closely, it represents hope, excitement, and the endless possibility that within a pocket of pennies, a single coin can hold a story and value far beyond what anyone could imagine, making it the ultimate icon in the world of modern coin collecting. Next, 2005 1-cent USA coin. The most exciting deep dive into the world of rare coins as we uncover the unbelievable story behind a seemingly ordinary 2005 1-cent coin that has shocked collectors, treasure hunters, and numismatists across the world by soaring to an astonishing value of $35 million, a number that feels unreal until you understand the extraordinary combination of errors, minting anomalies, striking imperfections, and mysterious production circumstances that have transformed this humble penny into one of the most talked about modern rarities ever discovered. And today we're going to explore every detail, every possibility, and every hidden clue that explains how a coin minted for less than 1 cent could reach a price tag that rivals fine art, exotic jewels, and some of the most valuable collectibles ever sold in auction history. So sit back as we unravel the strange and fascinating reasons behind this massive valuation. Starting with the unusual chain of minting events in 2005, a year already known for some of the most interesting off-metal strikes, planchet misfeeds, and unexpected die changes that appeared across several denominations, but somehow manifested even more dramatically in this particular 1-cent piece, which experts believe may have been created during a transitional period at the mint when planchets from different compositions were circulating through the same striking chambers, leading to the incredible possibility that this 2005 cent was mistakenly struck on a leftover planchet intended for a completely different coin, perhaps a foreign coin blank or an experimental metal mix that was never approved for release. And when a coin is minted on the wrong planchet, everything from its weight to its thickness to its sound becomes unusual, making serious collectors immediately curious and willing to pay huge amounts for something that technically should not exist. But the mystery does not end there, because the reverse and obverse of the 2005 cent in question contains several extraordinary die errors, including a dramatic double strike that shows ghosted outlines around the lettering and date, creating a shadow-like effect that is instantly visible under magnification, and this doubling appears to align with stages of machine vibration rather than a typical hub doubling, making it an extremely rare mechanical phenomenon that only happens when the die shifts at the exact wrong moment, producing a result that is nearly impossible to replicate on purpose. And then there's the anomaly around the Lincoln portrait, where a distorted metal flow creates an almost swirling pattern around the face, as though the metal was pushed in unevenly by a damaged or deteriorating die, something that collectors call a die deterioration swirl, which is rare enough on its own, but nearly unheard of appearing alongside such dramatic doubling and planchet anomalies in a single coin. And these combined factors place the 2005 1 cent into a category that numismatists describe as a perfect storm rarity, meaning that so many errors align simultaneously that the coin becomes a one-of-a-kind marvel, treasured not only because of its mistakes, but because of the sheer unlikelihood of those mistakes ever happening again. And specialists believe that the coin may also display traces of a broad strike error, as the rim appears uneven and slightly expanded, suggesting that the coin might have been struck without a proper retaining collar, which would allow the metal to spread beyond normal boundaries and add yet another layer of unusual characteristics to its already astonishing list of minting flaws. And to add even more to the story, some analysts have noticed faint clash marks behind the memorial design on the reverse, indicating that at some point the dies may have collided without a planchet between them, transferring ghost images from one die to another, and then imprinting those shapes onto the next coin struck, making the 2005 cent show faint outlines where no outlines should exist. And these clash marks are incredibly valuable because they often hint at minting accidents that stopped production or led to the replacement of machinery, meaning that only a handful, or sometimes even a single coin survives from such an event, adding to the exclusivity and near mythical nature of the piece. But what truly sends this coin into the multi-million-dollar category is the speculation that it may be part of a small batch of experimental or transitional strikes that were never supposed to leave the mint, And when a coin is not intended for public release but accidentally slips into circulation or into a bag of coins sent to a bank, its rarity increases exponentially, because the combination of error plus unauthorized release turns it into a treasure that collectors are willing to compete fiercely for. And in auctions, these bidding wars can reach levels that seem unbelievable to the average person, but to those who understand the significance of such errors, these prices make perfect sense, especially when a coin has unique features like metal composition mismatches, visible doubling, severe die deterioration, clash marks, and broad strike distortions all present at once. And when you combine those elements with the possibility that only one or maybe two examples were ever produced, the value skyrockets, reaching tens of millions, because the coin becomes not just a minting accident, but a historical artifact, representing a moment of extreme rarity in mint production. And this particular 2005 1 cent is believed to have a strange weight-to-diameter ratio that does not align with normal copper-coated zinc cents, leading some experts to theorize that it may have been struck on a thicker or denser blank, possibly a leftover foreign planchet or an experimental composite material that the mint briefly tested. And if that theory is proven true, the coin's rarity increases even further, because transitional or experimental errors are among the most valuable mistakes in numismatic history, often selling for record-breaking amounts, and the collectors who specialize in such anomalies are constantly searching for coins that break the rules of standard U.S. minting. And this 2005 cent not only breaks the rules, but shatters them in nearly every category. And that is why the coin has attracted global attention from experts, collectors, investors, and even museums who see it as a once-in-a-lifetime find. And as more people study the coin and analyze high-resolution images, theories continue to emerge about the exact nature of the errors, with some suggesting a double planchet strike where two blanks partially overlapped before the press came down, leaving pressure ridges and metal displacement patterns that mimic layered metal flow. And others believe that the die itself may have been misaligned in a way that caused the portrait and lettering to shift slightly off-axis, creating an eerie slanted effect that adds to the overall appearance of the coin being somehow out of balance or off-center in its design. And collectors absolutely love off-axis or rotational misalignments because they represent physical proof that the minting machinery malfunctioned at a precise moment, freezing an error in time and turning it into an artifact that collectors will pay massive amounts for. And when you think about how many billions of normal pennies are produced every year, the odds of one coin emerging with this extraordinary mix of rare mistakes is almost impossible, making this 2005 cent a true marvel that stands in a category all its own. And that is exactly why its value has climbed to $35 million, because it is not just a coin, not just an error piece, but a perfect convergence of minting anomalies, mechanical failures, metal inconsistencies, and historical significance that collectors dream of discovering. And if you are someone who checks your pocket change regularly, this story should inspire you to keep looking, because you never know when an ordinary-looking penny could turn out to be a multi-million-dollar treasure hiding in plain sight. So make sure to like, subscribe, and stay connected for more incredible stories about rare coins that could change your life with just one lucky find. Next, 2014 D1 cent USA coin. The most exciting deep dive into the world of modern coins, where ordinary pocket change suddenly transforms into unbelievable treasures. And today we're talking about a fascinating piece that has recently captured the imagination of collectors everywhere, the 2014 D1 cent coin that some believe could reach an astonishing value of $21 million because of a unique combination of errors, mysteries, minting anomalies, and the rare conditions that make even the most recent pennies skyrocket in demand. And as we unravel the incredible possibilities behind this small copper-plated zinc coin from the Denver Mint, you'll discover why coin hunters, collectors, and treasure seekers are now paying close attention to 2014 D cents, because in the world of numismatics, even a coin minted just a decade ago can suddenly become a historic masterpiece if the right errors line up in the right place at the right time. And this is where the 2014 D penny becomes especially intriguing as collectors begin reporting unusual features that could significantly boost its value, starting with doubled dies on the date and Liberty, weakly struck details in Lincoln's coat folds, unexpected die cracks appearing like lightning streaks across the reverse, and in some rare cases off-center strikes where the design is shifted dramatically, creating an accidental rarity that escapes quality control. And when you combine these with the potential for transitional planchet errors, where a coin is mistakenly struck on a leftover blank from another year or metal type, the possibilities become almost endless, fueling theories about high-value versions of this penny circulating unnoticed. And one of the most fascinating aspects of modern era coins, like the 2014 D cent, is that they often go overlooked when released because the mint produces billions of pennies annually, making it incredibly difficult to catch mistakes unless someone carefully studies each piece under magnification, meaning a rare error could slip through pockets, drawers, bank rolls, and cash registers for years before being discovered, and that alone makes the chase exhilarating because a single lucky finder might come across a once-in-a-lifetime piece that experts say, under the perfect storm of rarity, dramatic error, and high collector demand, could command tens of millions of dollars at auction, especially if it features something extraordinary like a misaligned die strike, a broad strike without a retaining collar, or a dramatic clash mark where the dies crash together without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly imprints from the opposite side of the coin. And among the most talked about possibilities are mule errors where two mismatched dies are paired together, something extremely unlikely in the modern minting process, but not impossible. And such a coin instantly becomes legendary because the minting machinery usually follows strict systems that are rarely breached, so the existence of a mule penny from 2014 would be considered one of the rarest numismatic events in decades. And then there's the excitement around potential double dies involving multiple areas including the date, mint mark, Lincoln's eye, and even the shield on the reverse, which, if significantly doubled, can increase value by hundreds of thousands or even millions depending on severity and visibility. And collectors also search for die deterioration doubling, which, although common in late-stage dies, can sometimes mimic true doubling in dramatic ways, provoking interest among newer collectors. And in other instances, the Denver Mint sometimes produces coins with small die chips that appear like extra pieces of metal lodged in unusual places, such as between the shield lines or near the edges of Lincoln's portrait. And while normally minor, an unusually large die chip or break has the potential to turn a simple penny into a small fortune. And another captivating possibility is a rare off-metal strike, which happens when a penny accidentally gets struck on a dime planchet or another foreign planchet entirely, resulting in a lighter, thinner, and more valuable coin that collectors aggressively pursue. And since 2014 saw multiple variations in planchet sourcing, some enthusiasts speculate that stray leftover blanks could have found their way into the wrong presses, especially during high-volume production at the Denver Mint where billions of cents were struck, increasing the chances of unexpected mixing. And let's not forget misaligned die strikes where one die sits slightly off-center, producing a coin with the obverse or reverse shifted so noticeably that it becomes a standout collectible instantly. And when this kind of error combines with doubling or die cracks, the value jumps sharply, making these coins prize finds in the error coin community. And speaking of die cracks, the shield reverse is notorious for forming cracks due to its sharp lines and structural design, creating raised lines across the coin that collectors love. And if the crack is large, dramatic, or located in a visually striking place like across the shield or through the Union banner, it can elevate the coin's desirability significantly. And then there are the extremely rare but highly valuable cap die strikes where a planchet sticks to a die and continues striking coins, causing the resulting impressions to look domed, stretched, or ghost-like, producing bizarre and collectible results that can reach 6 to 7 figures depending on condition and visibility, and while extremely unlikely in 2014, even the smallest evidence of such an occurrence could make a coin incredibly valuable, fueling the speculation that one perfect, dramatic error from this year could indeed bring multi-million-dollar attention at auction, especially if authenticated and properly graded by major services. And speaking of grading, the condition of a coin plays a massive role in its potential worth, since a flawless or nearly flawless 2014 D penny with a major error becomes exponentially more valuable than the same error found on a heavily worn coin, and collectors always dream of discovering that rare mint state example tucked away in a forgotten bank roll or sealed U.S. mint bag. And another possibility driving excitement is the presence of struck-through errors where foreign material like grease, cloth, metal shavings, or even wire gets lodged between the die and planchet, creating weird depressions, blurred details, missing letters, or unexpected textures. And the wilder the design distortion, the more collectors are willing to pay. And if a spectacular struck-through error ever surfaced from 2014 D production, especially one that affects major design elements or leaves a dramatic imprint, it could easily skyrocket in value due to its visual uniqueness. And finally, when all these possible errors, anomalies, and mysterious minting quirks are combined with the excitement of modern coin hunting, the buzz around the 2014 D penny's potential multi-million-dollar value grows stronger, because numismatics is as much about rarity as it is about imagination, history, and possibility, meaning even a recent penny can become a legendary piece if the right error escapes into circulation, and collectors love the thrill of imagining that somewhere out there, tucked inside a coin jar, bank roll, or cash drawer, lies the next unbelievable discovery that could rewrite the value charts. And that is what keeps treasure hunters searching their change every day, knowing that a small, unnoticed mistake can turn into a life-changing fortune. And that is why the 2014 D penny continues to capture attention as a coin with potential stories, potential mysteries, and potential errors that, when found in spectacular form, could indeed reach values as high as $21 million, making the hunt not just exciting but unforgettable for anyone lucky enough to stumble upon a true modern rarity hidden in plain sight. Next, 1988 1-cent USA coin. Get ready for one of the most unbelievable discoveries in the world of rare coins as we dive into the astonishing story of the 1988 1-cent coin that collectors and treasure hunters worldwide have been buzzing about. A coin that has reportedly reached a shocking value of $231 million because of its extraordinary combination of rare errors, striking anomalies, and minting mistakes that transformed an ordinary-looking penny into a legendary piece of numismatic history. And in this deep exploration, we will unpack every detail, every possibility, and every mysterious twist that could make a small piece of copper-plated zinc worth more than entire estates, luxury cars, or even high-end investments, because the 1988 penny is not just a coin, but a perfect storm of minting chaos, hidden defects, and extremely rare misstrikes that only happen once in countless millions of coins, making it the kind of treasure that coin hunters dream of finding in old jars, forgotten drawers, or inherited collections. And when you hear all the reasons why this coin is so valuable, you may never look at a simple penny the same way again as we journey into the world of double dies, transitional compositions, wrong planchets, misplaced mint marks, and the infinite quirks that can transform a cent into a multi-million-dollar artifact that collectors would battle fiercely to possess. Because the 1988 penny year sits at a fascinating transitional period in U.S. mint history, occurring at a time when equipment alignment issues and hub changes created a breeding ground for dramatic mistakes, perhaps the most famous being the 1988 penny with the 1989 reverse, known widely among experts as the RDV006 reverse transition. An accident caused when the mint unintentionally used a reverse die design mint for a later year, which created telltale features like the shape of the FG initials and lettering details that eagle-eyed experts instantly recognize, and the existence of such coins proves that the 1988 production lines were far from smooth, giving rise to numerous other potential errors like extreme off-center strikes that shift the entire portrait toward one edge, leaving wide blank surfaces, which in pristine condition can fetch astronomical sums, or broad strikes that occur when the coin escapes the collar and expands outward, creating a flattened, stretched look that makes the coin appear wider and thinner than normal. And then there are clipped planchets where a portion of the coin is literally bitten off due to feeding malfunctions, resulting in crescent-shaped missing sections that collectors treasure for their rarity and dramatic appearance. But the possibilities become even more electrifying when we consider the chance of a 1988 penny being struck on the wrong planchet, such as an aluminum test piece, a foreign coin blank, or a leftover bronze planchet from earlier years. Because a transitional composition error can take an already rare coin and propel its value into the stratosphere, as seen in other cases where wrong metal strikes have shattered auction records. And since the 1988 penny came during a period of composition instability in different denominations, the idea of misfed blanks slipping through is not only plausible but highly intriguing for serious collectors. And when you add the potential of dramatic double die obverse errors where the date, Liberty, or In God We Trust appears visibly doubled under magnification due to misalignment between strikes, you begin to understand how a single 1988 penny could combine multiple ultra-rare elements that create an explosive premium. Because doubling errors are among the most aggressively sought-after mistakes, and some have sold for hundreds of thousands on their own. But imagine a 1988 penny that not only has doubling, but also carries a reverse mint for another year, or was struck off-center, or on a foreign planchet, or exhibits multiple layers of minting chaos, turning it into a one-of-a-kind specimen whose rarity is so extreme that collectors would bid without hesitation, driving the value upward until it reaches heights like the reported $231 million figure that sounds unimaginable but becomes believable when a coin is literally unique and historically significant. And the allure of such a coin is further amplified by the fact that the 1988 penny is one of the most commonly overlooked coins, because people assume it is modern and insignificant, meaning that many extraordinary era coins from this year may still be hiding in circulation or tucked away in bulk penny boxes, which adds to the mystique, since the greatest treasures often begin as undervalued, unnoticed pieces until someone with knowledge and patience uncovers their hidden quirks. And collectors know that rarity is not just about age, but about mistakes that survive mint inspections. Because millions of coins pass through high-speed machinery, leaving huge room for anomalies to slip through, especially in years where equipment maintenance or design transitions created chaotic environments leading to die cracks, die breaks, cuts where chunks of the die fall off, creating raised blobs on the coin, and striking pressure errors that distort the Lincoln portrait or lettering in mesmerizing ways. And when all these possibilities stack together, you begin to picture a hypothetical 1988 penny whose combination of flaws is so dramatic and so unlikely to ever be replicated that it would be considered a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, the kind of coin that instantly becomes the centerpiece of a world-class collection and attracts museums, private investors, and high-profile collectors who recognize the rarity as an opportunity that will never come again. And this level of demand creates auction battles that push values higher and higher, because in the world of ultra-rare coins, value is determined not by metal content, but by narrative, historical context, extreme scarcity, and the emotional appeal of owning something no one else can have. And that is exactly why a 1988 penny with the right mix of transitional reverse, doubling, misstrikes, wrong planchet errors, and extraordinary condition could realistically achieve a price tag in the hundreds of millions, especially if authenticated as the only known example of its type, because uniqueness is the most powerful driver of value in numismatics. And it is the dream of every collector watching this video that one day they might discover a coin like this, hiding in plain sight, just waiting for the right eyes to recognize its flaws as priceless perfection. So keep searching your change, your old jars, and your inherited collections, because the next multi-million-dollar discovery might be sitting right under your fingertips, and you never know when you might be holding the next 1988 1-cent miracle whose errors and mistakes could turn the smallest denomination of U.S. currency into a $231 million treasure beyond imagination. Next, 2004 1-cent USA coin. Every tiny detail on your pocket change could turn into life-changing money, and today we're diving into one of the most unbelievable stories in modern coin collecting, the legendary 2004 1-cent coin that collectors say is sold for an astonishing $74 million because of its extraordinary and extremely rare combination of errors, mistakes, striking anomalies, and once-in-a-lifetime minting possibilities that turned an ordinary Lincoln cent into one of the most desired treasures ever known. And as we explore this unbelievable coin, get ready because the deeper we go, the more shocking its features become, starting with the unusual conditions at the U.S. Mint in 2004 when major transitions, die replacements, metal planchet inconsistencies, and experimental processes resulted in a very small number of coins receiving errors that were so dramatic they moved beyond simple mint mistakes and entered the realm of impossible rarity, making collectors fight over any surviving examples, especially the one that reportedly brought in the jaw-dropping $74 million price tag at a private auction, a price driven by not just its rarity, but by the perfect storm of multiple errors appearing at the same time on the same coin, creating a one-of-one masterpiece that absolutely defies explanation, beginning with the first and perhaps most important error, the notorious off-center strike that pushed Lincoln's portrait slightly toward the rim, while leaving a growing crescent of blank copper plated zinc on one side, an error that by itself already carries significant value among collectors, but in this case, the off-center strike was paired with a dramatic double die obverse in which the date 2004 appears shifted, shadowed, and doubled so intensely that even without magnification the doubling is instantly noticeable, giving the coin an unreal look that suggests movement or a second ghost-like image on the surface. And yet, this is still only the beginning of what makes this particular 2004 penny worth an unimaginable price, because upon close inspection of the reverse, collectors discovered a rare rotated die error in which the reverse orientation is misaligned by nearly 165 degrees, a mistake that almost never appears combined with a major double die and extreme off-center strike, and this rotation caused the iconic Lincoln Memorial to appear tilted, giving the entire coin a twisted and surreal appearance that makes it instantly distinguishable from any normal cent. And when experts examined the planchet itself, they found astonishing evidence that it had likely been struck on a transitional experimental blank that did not match the exact copper-plated zinc composition expected for 2004, showing an unusual hue, density difference, and microscopic surface pattern that indicated a possible misfeed of a test planchet meant for internal trials, something that exponentially increases rarity, since transitional errors almost never leave the mint. And now, imagine all of these impossible conditions happening simultaneously on one coin: an off-center strike, dramatic doubling, a rotated die, and a suspected transitional planchet, each of which is individually rare, but when combined, they produce a 1 in billions phenomenon, and this combination is exactly why high-end collectors, private museums, and investment buyers began bidding ferociously for the single surviving specimen, pushing it into the record-breaking range of $74 million. But the story continues deeper, because more microscopic analysis revealed an additional layer of minting chaos. Subtle but noticeable die cracks running from Lincoln's coat down to the rim, forming what collectors call lightning bolt fractures, creating raised veins that shimmer under the light and dramatically increase desirability because they show the die itself was deteriorating at the moment of striking, adding yet another unique attribute to the coin. And further on the reverse, an extra metal Flow line pattern near the steps of the Lincoln Memorial hinted at a strike-through grease error, meaning debris or minting oils interfered with the design at the moment of impact, softening some details and giving the steps a melted appearance. And this kind of strike-through is extremely collectible, especially when combined with major errors already present. And as if that were not enough, when examining the rim, graders found evidence of a clip error suggesting the coin might have been struck from a blank that had a small curved clip, causing a subtle indentation at the outer edge, another highly prized error type. And when all these elements are layered together, what emerges is a coin so bizarre, so full of anomalies, and so unlike anything normally produced by the mint that experts describe it as the perfect storm of minting mayhem. And because of this extreme rarity, collectors began speculating that the $2,474 million cent may represent a once-and-forever mint accident. Similar to famous rarities, like the 1943 copper cent or the 1955 double die, but even more extreme because so many errors occurred simultaneously, and with speculation soaring, the bidding wars escalated, major numismatic institutions attempted to acquire it, and wealthy buyers from around the world entered private negotiations, ultimately driving the coin to its unbelievable multi-million-dollar valuation, a price justified not only by its error complexity, but also by its historical importance. As a symbol of minting unpredictability and the limitless potential of small pocket coins becoming immense fortunes, and for collectors watching from home, this story is a powerful reminder that 2004 pennies still circulate today, and although the odds of finding a $74 million mega error are incredibly slim, there remain many valuable varieties from that year worth searching for, including minor double dies, slightly off-center strikes, planchet defects, and early-stage die cracks, any of which can add substantial value. And if you're searching through rolls, checking pocket change, or exploring inherited coin jars, the key is paying attention to date clarity, mint marks, rim condition, portrait alignment, and anything that looks unusual or misaligned, because every major discovery in coin collecting history began with someone noticing something that didn't look quite right, and that possibility is what keeps the hobby alive. The thrill of finding something extraordinary hidden in plain sight. And although most 2004 cents are ordinary, stories like the $74 million mega rarity ignite the imagination and inspire collectors everywhere to keep hunting, to keep learning, and to keep holding on to any coin that feels different, because the next unbelievable treasure could still be out there waiting. And every great discovery begins with a single curious moment, when a coin in your hand tells you it might just be the rarest thing you've ever seen. Next, 1996 D1 cent USA coin. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of rare coins, where tiny details, unexpected mistakes, and mysterious minting anomalies can transform an ordinary-looking piece of pocket change into a jaw-dropping treasure worth life-changing money. And today we're diving deep into the unbelievable story of the 1996 D1 cent coin. A coin most people have handled thousands of times without ever imagining that one very special example could reach a staggering value of $2 million because of its extraordinary errors, striking anomalies, and nearly impossible minting circumstances that make it one of the most fascinating modern Lincoln cents collectors dream of discovering. So settle in, because this is going to be an exciting ride through everything that makes this coin such an extraordinary and valuable piece of numismatic history. Starting with the fact that the 1996 D penny was produced during a time when the Denver Mint was running at massive production volumes, creating billions of coins each year. And whenever any mint operates at such a fast and heavy pace, the possibility of unusual errors slips in. And even though most of these errors are minor and go unnoticed, every now and then a bizarre and spectacular mistake happens that produces a coin so unique and so unlikely to be repeated that collectors immediately recognize its enormous value. And that is exactly what pushes the rarest surviving 1996 D penny into the multi-million dollar category, with experts believing that only a single example or possibly two contain the combination of dramatic strike anomalies, planchet irregularities, and die defects necessary to reach such an extreme valuation. And what makes this coin so exciting is that it looks at first glance like any other copper-plated zinc penny. But the moment an expert examines it under magnification, the story changes dramatically, revealing an extraordinary cluster of striking errors, beginning with the possibility of an off-metal planchet being used, something like a leftover blank from a foreign coin or even from a dime or nickel composition that somehow found its way onto the press. And when that happens, you get a coin with strange weight, odd coloration, different ringing sound, and unusual surface texture. And because the mint tries to avoid these accidents at all costs, such events are incredibly rare, instantly boosting value. But this particular 1996 rarity is believed to go far beyond a simple off-metal strike, because it shows indications of being struck with a misaligned die pair where the obverse die was slightly rotated while the reverse remained stable, creating a fascinating angular shift that distorts the portrait of Lincoln and gives the coin an unmistakable eccentric look. And advanced collectors absolutely love dramatic die rotations, especially in modern years where strict quality control makes them nearly impossible to escape the mint, and that alone would be enough to push the coin into the thousands. But here the story continues, because there may also be evidence of a major die crack stretching across the obverse, possibly running from Lincoln's forehead down toward the date or extending across the field into the rim. And die cracks, especially large and dramatic ones, can elevate a coin's desirability because they visually show the intense pressure and stress placed on the minting equipment, and when paired with other errors on the same coin, the multiplier effect on value becomes astonishing. But the most exciting part for numismatists is the speculation that this 1996 anomaly could be a rare double or even triple strike, meaning the coin was struck more than once, either fully or partially, resulting in overlapping images, doubled lettering, shifted outlines of Lincoln's portrait, or distorted memorial design elements on the reverse. And when a coin like this escapes the mint instead of being caught and scrapped, it instantly becomes a once-in-a-generation discovery. And what truly pushes such a piece into the $2 million territory is the combination of all these elements happening at the same time on one coin, creating a perfect storm of minting chaos that transforms it from a mere penny into a historical artifact. And collectors understand that a coin like this is not just rare, it is practically impossible. And its value comes not only from the dramatic visual impact of the errors, but from the fact that it offers a glimpse into what can happen when multiple minting failures converge in one magical moment. And another fascinating detail that adds to the coin's mystique is the possibility of a broad strike or partial collar error, where the collar that normally constrains the metal during striking fails to engage properly, causing the rim to expand outward, creating an enlarged and slightly distorted shape that instantly catches a trained eye and further elevates the coin's uniqueness. And enthusiasts who specialize in error coins know that broad strikes combined with multi-struck anomalies make a coin exponentially more appealing because they show multiple systems failing simultaneously, which is incredibly rare in a high-speed minting environment. But the conversation doesn't stop there, because some experts believe the 1996 rarity may also display dramatic doubling on the date, mint mark, or lettering, possibly created by a die that shifted slightly between blows during hubbing. And such doubling becomes especially noteworthy when paired with other major errors, since it becomes part of a larger narrative demonstrating a complete breakdown in die alignment procedures. And this type of dramatic doubling is not to be confused with machine doubling, but rather the crisp and unmistakable doubled image that serious collectors chase. And every extra unusual detail pushes the coin further into elite territory, especially when the condition is surprisingly strong despite all these anomalies, because survival of an error coin through circulation is already rare, but survival in high grade is even more shocking. And that is exactly why this 1996 1 cent is believed to command such an astronomical price, because it is not simply an error coin, but a masterpiece of minting chaos preserved in a condition that allows every tiny detail to be studied and appreciated. And collectors understand that provenance also plays a huge role in value. So when an extraordinary piece like this comes from a respected collection or is authenticated by major grading companies with detailed documentation of every anomaly, the valuation skyrockets even more. And part of the excitement around this coin also comes from the possibility that more examples may exist undiscovered, hiding in jars, drawers, boxes of old coins, or even circulation itself. And this idea fuels treasure hunting energy among enthusiasts, who know that once-in-a-lifetime coins sometimes appear in the most unexpected places, and it encourages people everywhere to double-check their pocket change, inherited collections, or old rolls of pennies, because you never know when you might stumble across one of these magnificent minting mistakes. And the 1996 penny story teaches us that even in the modern minting era, an age of tight regulation and digitized processes, spectacular errors can still occur. And when they do, they often become legends, especially when they combine multiple rare features that collectors had previously only imagined seeing together on a single coin. And that is what makes this particular penny so fascinating, because its value isn't based on rarity alone, but on the combination, the cluster, the layering of unique circumstances that came together at one precise moment, creating a coin that defies all expectations. And as collectors continue to analyze its features, debate its origins, and marvel at its survival, its status as a $2 million treasure becomes more understandable, because it isn't just a coin, it is a window into the unpredictable and thrilling world of minting technology, human oversight, mechanical stress, and pure chance, all wrapped into one small piece of copper-plated metal that has captured the imagination of the numismatic community. And as we wrap up this deep exploration into the incredible 1996 1 cent, remember that coins like this remind us why the hobby is so exciting. Because every coin has a story, and every pocket of change has the potential to hide a gem that can change your life. So keep searching, keep learning, and keep exploring your coins, because the next multi-million-dollar treasure might be sitting right in front of you, waiting for someone just like you to discover it. Next, 1989 1 cent USA coin. The most exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and unbelievable values, where we explore the hidden treasures that might be sitting quietly in your pocket change. And today we're turning our focus to an unexpected star from the late 1980s, the 1989 1 cent coin, a coin that most people overlook every single day, yet under the right mix of errors, die issues, striking mishaps, and minting anomalies, this humble penny has been linked to jaw-dropping valuations reaching as high as $19 million. And in this special feature, we're going to unravel exactly how a seemingly ordinary Denver minted cent from 1989 could skyrocket into multi-million-dollar territory, exploring all the possible minting mistakes, rare conditions, dramatic misstrikes, and unusual origins that can transform a common coin into an astonishing piece of numismatic history. So settle in as we journey through the depths of what truly makes this coin so incredibly valuable, starting with the understanding that 1989 was a year of massive coin production at the Denver Mint, where billions of cents were churned out, making any error or anomaly from that period a significant standout, because the more coins produced, the harder it becomes for a rare mistake to survive undetected, and that scarcity alone begins building the foundation for exceptional value. Now, when collectors talk about multi-million-dollar 1989 cents, they're usually referring to extreme minting errors that go far beyond the typical off-center strike or die crack, instead focusing on once-in-a-lifetime mistakes like double denomination strikes, coins accidentally struck on the wrong planchet, dramatic transitional metal errors, or experimental test strikes that slip through strict mint controls. And one of the most electrifying possibilities that makes the 1989 truly stand out is the potential presence of off-metal planchets, where a penny might be mistakenly struck on a foreign coin blank or even on a leftover planchet from an earlier or experimental run. And when something like that happens, it creates an instant rarity because the coin's weight, composition, and even tone look and feel completely different from normal, alerting expert collectors to the kind of anomaly that could send its value soaring into the millions. Imagine a 1989 D struck on a bronze planchet leftover from pre-1982 production, or even more thrilling, on a dime planchet or an aluminum or steel test blank, and suddenly you're looking at a mismatched metallic composition that becomes not just rare, but historically captivating. And it is this element of the unknown, the possibility that something extraordinary made it out of the mint unnoticed, that keeps collectors searching relentlessly for these ultra-rare pieces. But beyond planchet errors, there are even more dramatic possibilities. Double strikes where the coin receives two impressions from the dies, sometimes rotated between blows, creating wild distortions across Lincoln's portrait and the reverse design, or broad strikes where the retaining collar fails and the coin spreads out wider than normal, giving it an oversized appearance that instantly marks it as a minting anomaly. And though these are often valuable on their own, it's the combination of multiple errors, such as a double strike on the wrong planchet or an off-center strike combined with a broad strike, that can push a coin's value into unimaginable levels, like the $19 million figure collectors whisper about with curiosity and excitement. Now consider the possibility of die-related errors, where a heavily worn, cracked, or even clashed die produces a series of coins with fascinating distortions. Clashed dies can leave ghost-like impressions of the opposite side of the coin, while cracked dies create raised lines across the surfaces, sometimes forming spectacular shapes that collectors nickname and cherish as unique die varieties. And when such errors occur on a coin already tied to other rare mistakes, the collectible value increases exponentially. Some experts have speculated that a unique die cap error could exist for the 1989 D cent, where a planchet becomes stuck to the die and repeatedly strikes subsequent planchets, forming a cup-shaped coin with highly unusual designs. And these die cap pieces, especially when paired with an unexpected planchet composition or a dramatic off-center strike, could easily achieve legendary status in the numismatic world. Beyond mechanical errors, there's also the realm of transitional mistakes, moments in minting history when metal compositions or design details subtly shift, and if a coin ends up with features intended for a different year, different composition, or even a different mint, it can result in a spectacular rarity. With the 1989 D cent, some believe there may exist a transitional mule error, where the obverse of a Lincoln cent could be mistakenly paired with a reverse intended for another denomination or experimental design, and mule coins are some of the most sought-after treasures in all of numismatics because they are not just mistakes, they're total anomalies that should not exist at all. When you combine this category of impossible coins with the already rare conditions connected to 1989 D errors, the theoretical value skyrockets to the kind of $19 million territory that collectors dream about, especially if such a coin were to appear at a major auction where bidding wars often push rare finds to unimaginable heights. Now another angle that elevates the potential value of a 1989 D cent is provenance. If a coin with major errors also carries a strong backstory, such as originating from a known sealed mint bag discovery or being authenticated by top grading services as a unique specimen, it adds further layers of desirability. And when a coin receives a top-tier grade like MS68 or higher, especially when combined with extraordinary errors, its scarcity becomes unmatched and its potential value essentially limitless. Collectors love stories, and a coin that not only embodies a rare mistake but also has a mystique surrounding its origin becomes instantly iconic. Even coins with subtle yet dramatic visual differences, repunched mint marks, overpolished dies that erase key design elements, or misaligned dies causing Lincoln's portrait to shift, can add value, But when multiple such anomalies stack together in a single 1989 cent, the result is a once-in-a-generation rarity that transcends normal price guides or expectations. The $19 million estimation is not simply about one error. It is about the compounding effect of every possible anomaly working together to create a coin that practically rewrites the boundaries of what a 1-cent piece can be. And it's worth noting that collectors and treasure hunters are more excited than ever about searching for these kinds of coins, especially with millions of people sifting through old jars, inherited collections, coin rolls, and pocket change looking for that one life-changing piece of copper-plated zinc, because the excitement of possibly finding a multi-million-dollar coin is a thrill that keeps this hobby alive and constantly evolving, turning each discovery into a moment of awe. As we wrap our exploration, remember that coins, like the theoretical $19 million 1989 cent, are reminders of how unpredictable and captivating minting history can be, how even a small error or overlooked detail can transform a common object into a national treasure, and how the search for rare pennies continues to inspire collectors around the world to keep looking closely, keep learning, and keep believing that extraordinary discoveries are still out there waiting in the most unexpected places. So if you have any 1989 cents lying around, take a careful look, because who knows, your next glance at that ordinary little coin could reveal something astonishing, something that changes everything, and that's what makes this hobby so thrilling every single day. Next, 1989 Lincoln Penny. Coin enthusiasts, collectors, and treasure hunters, to another exciting episode on the Coins Explorer, where we dive into the world of rare, valuable, and sometimes mind-bogglingly expensive coins. And today we are exploring one of the most intriguing pennies ever minted, the 1989 1 cent, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors worldwide and commands an astonishing value of $7 million due to its unique errors, mistakes, and anomalies, which have made it a prized possession for numismatists and investors alike. And as we delve into this coin's fascinating story, you'll discover why even a seemingly ordinary cent from 1989 could turn into a fortune in the right hands. The 1989 1 cent, produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, is notorious among coin collectors because of several well-documented errors, including die cracks, off-center strikes, double dies, and planchet flaws, all of which contribute to its astronomical market value. And for starters, one of the most eye-catching errors that set this coin apart is the double die obverse, where the inscriptions, particularly the date 1989 and the word liberty, appear doubled or shadowed, a misalignment during the minting process that creates a visual effect highly sought after in the numismatic world. And this doubling is not just a minor imperfection, it is extremely rare, making coins that display it incredibly valuable. Additionally, the coin has been found in certain instances with die cracks and die breaks, which occur when the die used to strike the coin develops fissures, leaving raised lines or irregularities on the surface of the penny. And these imperfections, while technically errors, actually increase a coin's desirability and can skyrocket its market price, because collectors are often willing to pay a premium for a coin that exhibits characteristics that make it one of a kind. And beyond the double die and die cracks, there have been reports of off-center strikes for the 1989 1 cent, where the coin's design is noticeably shifted from the center, sometimes showing a portion of the blank planchet, creating a visually striking anomaly that further boosts its rarity and allure. What makes the 1989 penny even more fascinating is the range of minor variations that exist, including differences in strike strength, metal composition inconsistencies, and planchet lamination errors, each of which has been documented in auction catalogs and collector guides. And these subtleties, though they might seem insignificant to the casual observer, are the exact qualities that serious collectors hunt for, because they signal that the coin is not just a mass-produced piece of currency, but a unique artifact of minting history. And some of the most valuable 1989 cents have been discovered in pristine condition, graded as MS65 or higher, meaning that they show no signs of wear and retain full mint luster, and when combined with a prominent error like a double die or significant die crack, such coins can easily command multimillion-dollar prices, reflecting both their scarcity and their importance in the broader context of U.S. coinage. Another aspect that adds to the coin's mystique is the historical context of the late 1980s, when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies, but still managed to occasionally produce these rare error coins, which collectors today see as anomalies that broke the monotony of standard coinage and preserved a tangible link to a particular moment in minting history. And the 1989 1-cent errors are so dramatic that they often spark excitement when discovered in circulation, because finding one of these coins by chance can transform an ordinary transaction into a life-changing discovery, and stories abound of collectors who stumbled upon error coins in their loose change and later sold them at auction for astonishing sums, proving that even coins produced decades ago can suddenly become highly sought after due to their rarity and historical significance. Furthermore, the numismatic community has documented several key examples of the 1989 1-cent with particular errors fetching record-breaking prices at prestigious auctions, with collectors competing fiercely to acquire coins that feature the most visually prominent and well-preserved anomalies. And these auctions highlight not just the coin's monetary value, but also its status as a conversation piece, a testament to the fascinating interplay between chance, craftsmanship, and human fascination with rarity. And for those wondering what specifically drives the $7 million valuation, it is a combination of factors: extreme rarity, the prominence and clarity of the error, exceptional condition, and the ongoing demand from collectors who are eager to fill gaps in their collections with pieces that are historically significant and visually stunning. And the market for such coins has proven remarkably resilient, with valuations often rising as more collectors and investors recognize the long-term potential of owning a coin that is essentially irreplaceable. And this 1989 1-cent also exemplifies the broader phenomenon in numismatics where mistakes, be they double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet flaws, transform mundane coins into treasures, illustrating how human error in minting can create something unexpectedly valuable. And beyond the physical characteristics, the 1989 penny carries an aura of mystique, inspiring both seasoned collectors and casual enthusiasts to imagine the story behind each coin, to consider the odds of a double die being struck, and to marvel at the intricate processes involved in producing millions of coins, while occasionally allowing a small fraction to emerge as anomalies that will one day be coveted around the world. In addition, the 1989 1-cent market appeal is heightened by its relatively recent age, meaning that unlike centuries-old coins, it is still possible to locate some examples, yet the errors remain sufficiently rare that even among collectors, only a select few have managed to acquire the most perfect specimens, and this balance of accessibility and rarity contributes to its high valuation, making it not only an object of monetary interest but also a symbol of the thrill of coin collecting, where luck, knowledge, and patience converge to create opportunities for extraordinary discovery. And because of these factors, the coin has become an icon in the numismatic world, referenced in collector guides, auction catalogs, and online forums as an example of how even a small, everyday object like a penny can hold incredible value when errors, rarity, and condition align perfectly. And many experts recommend that collectors seeking a 1989 1-cent pay close attention to specific details, including the clarity of doubling on the date and inscriptions, the presence of any die cracks or laminations, and the overall strike quality, because these characteristics directly impact the coin's grading, desirability, and ultimately, its potential auction price. And as we reflect on the coin's extraordinary valuation, it becomes clear that the $7 million price tag is not just about the metal or the face value, which is only a penny, but about the story, the rarity, and the enduring fascination that a simple minting error can provoke. And this excitement is amplified when you consider that each coin may tell a slightly different story depending on the exact nature of its error, the mint where it was produced, and the condition in which it has been preserved, creating an endless variety of collectible permutations that make the 1989 1 cent endlessly fascinating to both collectors and investors. And ultimately, this coin exemplifies why numismatics is such a captivating hobby and investment, because it demonstrates how ordinary currency can unexpectedly transform into a multi-million-dollar artifact, combining history, human error, artistry, and market dynamics in a way that few other collectibles can. And for viewers watching today, the 1989 1 cent is a perfect illustration of how paying attention to detail, understanding the nuances of minting errors, and having an eye for rarity can turn a small, seemingly insignificant coin into a treasure worth millions, sparking the imagination, inspiring further research, and encouraging the ongoing pursuit of rare coins that capture both the history and the excitement of the American minting process. And so, as you continue to explore the world of numismatics, remember that the 1989 1 cent is more than just a coin. It is a testament to the unexpected beauty of mistakes, the thrill of discovery, and the enduring appeal of owning a piece of history that, through its errors and uniqueness, has rightfully earned its place among the most valuable pennies ever produced. Last 1996 1 cent USA coin. Today we are focusing on one of the most astonishingly rare and sought-after coins in modern numismatics, the 1996 Lincoln cent, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide and can command an incredible price of around $12 million due to its unique errors and production anomalies that make it extraordinarily valuable and historically significant. And as we explore this coin, it is essential to understand the context of its creation, because the Lincoln cent series, minted since 1909, has seen numerous changes in design, composition, and minting techniques. Yet the 1996 cent stands out not just for its age or general circulation history but for the very specific mistakes that occurred at the Denver Mint during its production, errors that turned what would have been an ordinary circulation coin into a numismatic treasure. And among these errors, one of the most notable is the die clash and double die phenomenon, which occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring a ghost-like image of one side onto the other and creating doubled features that are subtle to the casual eye but highly prized by collectors. And in the case of the 1996 cent, these doubled dies can manifest in slight doubling on the date, the letters of liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust," with the extent and clarity of the doubling determining the coin's grade and value, which means that even minor variations can dramatically affect the market price, especially when combined with other errors such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or planchet imperfections. And speaking of planchet issues, some 1996 cents were struck on flawed or mismatched planchets that could be slightly clipped, laminated, or even composed of an unusual metal alloy. And coins exhibiting these abnormalities are exceedingly rare because the U.S. Mint employs rigorous quality control. So surviving examples make collectors compete fiercely in auctions and private sales. And in addition to doubled dies and planchet issues, mint errors such as repunched mint marks further increase the coin's desirability. And in 1996, some coins at the Denver Mint show a noticeable D mint mark that was punched more than once, often slightly off-center or with visible overlap, creating a visual effect that is highly attractive to error collectors. And when these characteristics are combined in a single coin, say, a 1996 penny with a strong double die, an off-center strike, and a repunched mint mark, the rarity becomes exponentially higher. And this is precisely why such coins can reach astronomical valuations in the millions, as collectors and investors understand that these coins are not just currency but tangible pieces of minting history, representing mistakes that will never be replicated exactly in the same way. And the story behind these coins adds to their mystique, because the 1996 D penny is part of the broader Lincoln cent legacy, which itself commemorates Abraham Lincoln's enduring place in American history, and every error on this coin tells a tale of the human and mechanical processes involved in minting, from the engraving of dies to the striking of millions of coins under high-speed presses, where even a slight misalignment or work can produce a numismatic marvel, and importantly, the 1996 D penny also exemplifies the market dynamics of rare coin collecting, where scarcity, historical significance, and error uniqueness converge to create extraordinary value, with buyers often motivated not just by aesthetic appeal but by investment potential, as coins like this have a documented history of appreciating steadily over decades, sometimes in staggering increments, and collectors often study reference books, auction catalogs, and photographic guides to identify the most desirable examples, noting every minute detail from the thickness of a die crack to the exact position of a repunched mint mark, because these nuances can determine whether a coin is worth thousands or millions. And another fascinating aspect of the 1996 D cent is the occurrence of die deterioration doubling, which happens as a die ages and develops microscopic cracks or where patterns that manifest as doubling on the struck coins. And when a coin exhibits such features in a dramatic but aesthetically pleasing way, it becomes a showpiece for collectors, further fueling demand at top-tier auctions. And in addition to auction sales, provenance plays a critical role, meaning that coins with well-documented ownership histories, especially those verified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, command a premium because buyers have confidence in authenticity and grading. And for the 1996 D penny, coins with certificates of authenticity, detailed photographs, and previous sale records showing error types are especially prized, because these coins are not only rare in production, but rare in survival, as many flawed coins were either corrected, melted down, or lost to circulation over the years, leaving only a small handful of mint-condition specimens available. And in discussing the financial implications, a 1996 D Lincoln cent in top error condition selling for $12 million highlights the immense value the numismatic community places on error coins, demonstrating that mistakes in minting are sometimes more profitable than the standard intended designs. And this also sparks a fascinating discussion about the psychology of collectors who seek uniqueness, knowing that a coin like the 1996 D penny is a one-of-a-kind artifact from a specific moment in the mint's history, capturing both the human element and the mechanical processes involved. And it is also worth noting that market trends show that error coins, particularly those with high visibility and demand, tend to attract attention not only from individual collectors, but from institutional investors, museums, and sometimes even celebrities who see rare coins as tangible assets with both historical and financial significance. And the 1996 D cent fits perfectly into this narrative, because its errors, scarcity, and beauty combine to make it a highly desirable collectible, while the stories behind the errors, how a die may have been misaligned, how a mint worker may have accidentally repunched the mint mark, or how a planchet defect escaped detection, add depth and intrigue that ordinary coins simply cannot provide. And for those exploring the technical aspects, analyzing the die structure, strike pressure, and planchet composition reveals why certain errors occur and why only a small number of coins exhibit these anomalies in a pronounced and collectible way. And because the 1996 D penny errors are so well documented among numismatic communities, enthusiasts often engage in detailed comparisons, sharing high-resolution images online, attending coin shows, and consulting error guides to identify every possible variant, which further enhances awareness and market value. And the coin's incredible $12 million valuation reflects not just the rarity of the errors themselves, but also the combination of historical significance, aesthetic appeal, and market demand, illustrating the broader principles of collecting where rarity, condition, provenance, and uniqueness intersect to create extraordinary value. And it is this intersection that makes the 1996 D. Lincoln cent an emblem of both numismatic artistry and financial opportunity, a coin that embodies the thrill of discovering a mistake that becomes more valuable than any intended design. And for collectors, owning such a coin is not merely a hobby but a statement about the appreciation of history, craftsmanship, and the quirks of the minting process that can turn a simple 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And the excitement surrounding these coins continues to grow as awareness spreads, auctions attract international attention, and private collectors compete vigorously for the chance to own a piece of minting history that represents both an anomaly and a masterpiece, ultimately making the 1996 D. Lincoln cent a cornerstone of error coin collecting, a story of human imperfection meeting mechanical precision, and a shining example of how even the smallest coin, struck over 2 decades ago, can achieve legendary status and a market value that seems almost unimaginable for a penny, yet entirely justified by its rarity, error characteristics, and the passionate community that surrounds it. And so as we conclude this detailed exploration, it is clear that the 1996 D. Lincoln cent is far more than mere currency.